Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS&Me Radio, which is brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. I'm your host, Patty Long, and you can find me on Twitter most of the time at MSNit for Life. That's spelled MSENIT, the number 4, LIFE. And I say most of the time because I have now missed two weeks in a row of hashtag ChatMS. Excuse me, goodness, I got the burps and the hiccups and everything going on here. You know how stomachs are with MS. If you've ever had GI issues on account of your MS, then you know how that happens. But in any case, not this past Monday, but the Monday before that, the first time I missed hashtag ChatMS, I was on my way home from the doctor's office, and my son and I decided we better go ahead and stop and get something to eat because we both knew there wasn't going to be anything to eat at either one of our houses without us cooking, and neither one of us were in any shape for that. I mean, sometimes you get what you get, right? And so we stopped to get something to eat, and my phone died. And I was in the middle of a conversation with a group of people, and I feel really bad because I just sort of fell out of the conversation without saying bye or nothing because my phone died. And I wasn't paying attention to the little, thing at the top that says your phone's about to die. And so I didn't even realize it. But, that happens too. And then we were about 30 minutes from home, and my son was using the charger, and I wasn't going to take it from him. He's being kind enough to drive me. And so I did not. And I got home, and I had only eaten half of my dinner, so I ate the other half of it. And then got my stuff in and all of that. And next thing I knew, it was 8:30, 8:45, and here comes hubby in from going out for the night with the boys. So I kind of missed it that week, and then I didn't get back to Twitter because the next day I was tired and losing everything and barely could find my phone. And then I went and decided Tuesday evening that I was going to clean the filter in my big 40-gallon fish tank. Now, this is a big job for me, even though it really shouldn't be. I have a 3-gallon bucket, and I put the dirty stuff in there, after I unhook everything and close all the tubing off. I put the dirty stuff in, and then I kind of wash it out in the tank water where I open the valves and let water in. And, then I dump out the 3/4 maybe of a gallon of water out of the big canister filter. And you can see it's 5 o'clock. I don't know. Maybe you guys can't hear that. But my phone set to silence still seems to think that it should speak to me. But in any case, so I get started on this process, and I'm really proud of myself for getting the whole thing done. And I have a double canister setup. And I hook everything back together, and I fill the little, canisters back up so that I don't have to, sit there and mash the button and suction water. And my son helps me fill the tank up with water because now it's about 10-15, Yeah, 10 to 15 gallons shy. And I'm tired. I called it a night. I went and laid down. I got it started running and I went and laid down. Stupidest thing to ever do when you have fish tanks. Oh my gosh. I woke up Wednesday morning to probably 15 gallons of water in the floor. So the tank had actually dropped from the level it was when Cody and I started filling it back up with water. And I have all this water coming in the floor. And then I can't find the leak. And so I think I have it all sopped up and dried and fixed, and dang it if it's not wet again. And on this day, on top of the fish tank disaster that I'm find, my husband decides to stay home from work because he is sick. Now, I shouldn't say he decides. He really truly was sick. And so he had stayed home, and I was trying not to be really loud, so I didn't want to go get the wet vac. I ended up soaking every towel in the house. Every single solitary towel that we own was soaking wet. So I threw those in the washing machine and started that. And I took care of hubby while I was doing this. And got him this and that. You know, he didn't ask for much. He was sick. But I got him what he needed, you know, and I listened out for him, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd say, "Don't worry about it. I'm dealing with my fish tanks. I'm dealing with my fish tanks." So finally I decided that I'd found the leak in the small canister. So I unhooked it, and then Cody and I spent the rest of the day and into the next day trying to unhook the tubing from the small canister. And we both had blisters all over our hands from trying to unscrew these caps. I guess I had them on pretty daggone tight, or at least the one that I really needed off, you know. So Thursday, just before going to pool, I thought I had it. And I didn't. And I gave up. And so my fish had their bubblers going, and the tank was just turning, you know, a nice shade of green, because that's what happens with fish tanks and no filtration system. So my tank was definitely hurting because of what had happened, and I was frustrated with it. So then I go to pool. And I lost. Of course I lost. I didn't know which end was up, and I lost. But that was okay. I don't care. You know, I mean, and that really is the least of my concerns. And I had a good time anyways, because, you know, I always do up there. It's a safe place, you know. And so then Friday I get up and I get back to my fish tank, and I'm cleaning snails out of my fish tank. And I mean, oh my gosh, I've been hunting snails forever, it seems. I thought I had them all gone, and then when I got back home after having surgery, well, there'd been a snail explosion. So I had a mess of snails again. So anyway, so I'm doing that, and I'm trying to unhook this thing, and I'm going back and forth and back and forth. And, you know, finally I got it unhooked, and then took that piece into the bathroom and just dumped everything out of it, all the water out of it, and set it on something to hopefully dry, and then I'd be able to see if there was a leak somewhere. And in the meantime, I hooked back up just my big canister and made sure I had everything good and tight so that I could start the filtration going. And it's been going. When I first started it, I started it inside the bucket so I'd know if something was leaking. Nothing was leaking. Yay. So I got that all cleaned up finally, and my floor dried finally. And then came the weekend. And then I started hearing how, and I kind of thought this was funny, but I started hearing how I was going to be lost in the airports forever when I go to the UK on the Oceans of Hope Challenge. And, I'm not going to be lost forever in the airports or in the UK. And I know this because, well, there's people for that at the airports, and there's all kinds of sweet people in the UK. So, and I know this. I mean, I'm staying with the sweetest people ever who are taking me into their home, picking me up from the airport. And unfortunately, I couldn't fly directly into Sheffield, where I will be staying for the first couple of days before heading to Oban. But there, to fly into that close by airport was going to add so much to the cost of the flight that I just really couldn't afford to do it that way. So they're picking me up in Manchester, like an hour and a half away, which is amazing. I mean, not only are they picking me up and giving me a place to stay, but everything they have done has just overwhelmed me. And so I'm just thrilled and overwhelmed by the entire thing. And at the same time, with everything that is going on with the trip and what I needed to take care of, well, my fish room is still a giant disaster. When I got the invite, my work stopped in here. And if you recall, I had really wanted to be done in 3 months. And gosh, we're almost to the end of March. And I'm nowhere near done. This is going to take me a while. So I guess I really needed that 3-month extension. And hopefully I don't need another 3 months, because, gosh, I really only have this one section in the middle of the room to go. But I have run into one problem after another problem after another problem. And so this has fallen along the wayside. And then Monday, I got sick. So there went my Monday. And then Tuesday, Tuesday I was feeling better. And I got out of the house and I went to Walmart and I did all that kind of stuff. And so again, I miss getting on Twitter. And I really, really apologize to everybody out there who is following me on Twitter, because it is not my intention to disappear like this. And I think I just sort of bit off more than I could chew, And sometimes we do that. And then there's the ignorance that we all live with. And this is one of the things in that conversation on that Monday on my way home from the doctors that we were talking about, It's not just people who didn't know us. And it's not just people who knew us forever, that were friends forever, I should say. But it's also family. And when it's family, it can be the most upsetting. And anytime you get two ignorant people together, it seems to breed more ignorance. And keep this in mind, folks, because if you're in a group, say you go out somewhere and you're in a group, or maybe you're at work, or maybe you're having a family gathering, and more than one person is ignorant about your MS, about the disease in general, about what it does to us, then that ignorance will breed, okay? It's like chasing them freaking snails in this fish tank, You start out thinking, oh, well, there's one snail that came in on this plant, which is how I got them. Well, that ain't no big deal. But that one snail was already pregnant. And all it takes is 2 snails, and one egg is like 100 snails, and every snail will lay a ton of eggs. So before you know it, that snail has, that one little snail, that one ignorant person has turned into an entire room of ignorance. And so, it's because of this that I don't hang out with ignorant people. If you don't want to believe in MS, if you don't want to believe what's wrong, that's fine. I can't change your mind. I'm sorry for you, because at some point your bad decisions are going to come back to haunt you. And that's kind of what karma is, all those bad decisions that come back to bite you in the butt. So, eventually this will come around full circle and they'll be sorry. And hopefully, when they do, it's not too late. Hopefully they come around before that. But ignorance breeds more ignorance. So if you're in a place like that, just excuse yourself. Don't try and change minds. Don't speak to them at all about your MS. If it's family and you can't get away and really get away, I can understand that. There's many times when I have just had to go in another room and shut the door, or go outside and sit outside by myself during family gatherings. And a lot of that was because the noise and the sights was just too much for my head. And then came the ignorance, and that was just even worse. So, because ignorance tends to breed ignorance, and the more of that you're around, the more stressed out you become, and the harder it is to deal with it, And I tell people, what? I'm really glad for you. I'm happy for you. I'm really sorry that you're so ignorant, but I'm happy for you in your ignorant place because, only the ignorant ones can truly be happy about something like that, right? And, maybe you can choose to be ignorant, but I can't. These were the cards I was dealt. I have to play them. And I have to play them well, y'all. And I can't play them well with some ignorant idiot babbling on in my ear. And so I have to stay away from that kind of stuff. And it's a shame because there are people that are family members that just don't have a clue and probably never will. They cannot grasp the concept of what we go through on a daily basis because they have nothing to relate it to. And it's because of this that I'd really like to develop a try on MS day, and try it on for size so that people can experience it. And there was this really cool thing going around the US. This lady wanted to do a thing to let people know about what their loved ones with dementia were going through. And she had all kinds of great ideas. And so I'm hoping that, I can kind of take the program that she started there and expand on that to include some more things because she had great ideas for the cognitive difficulties of someone with any type of dementia. And MS has a lot of those same cognitive function problems. The memory loss, the noise that just won't stop, and it's just overwhelming. So there were a lot of really good things that they did, and they asked everybody who took part in this event to try and do some simple task. And they gave them a couple of tasks that they asked them to do, and nobody could do them all. Nobody. They gave them glasses that distorted their vision. They gave them, and each person did some different things. They put the rubber gloves on their hands. But there was all these different kinds of things that they did to simulate the experience of having cognitive difficulties. So I think that a try on MS is certainly possible. Now, my skills are really lacking in the actual organizational part of starting something like this. So I'm really good with ideas, which is why I was so good at different jobs that I had, was because I was the idea person. I came up with the idea, the solution to the problems. And that was one of my core strengths in the workplace. So the making it happen part after the idea was sometimes solely up to me, and sometimes it was part of a teamwork project, and now it would most definitely need a teamwork project sort of thing to take off, but I really would love these people who are still so ignorant be able to try on MS, because then if they went, then maybe those with MS and with a family member who is breaking their heart because their family member isn't believing it, then maybe this would be a way for them to say, oh, I get it now. I get it. I get it. And we're not looking for pity. So when somebody comes up and says, I'm sorry to me because they find out that I have MS, I say, don't be. We've all got our cards. These are mine and I know how to play them, so I'm good. And that's basically it. When you first get diagnosed, you don't know how to play the game. And you got to learn how to play the game of MS. And I kind of look at it as a game, because if I don't look at it as a game, then I get more stressed out. If I try and hurry, forget it. I can't hurry through nothing and get it done right. I was trying to hurry today and I lost pieces of the camera thing that I got, which was I got a camera and then I got an accessory pack, and so I lost one of the accessory pieces. I'll find it because I hadn't been anywhere, so it's right here, but where? And that's the thing, I lose more stuff in this house, and it's only like 1,250 square feet. So, you'd think, how can you lose everything in a 1,250 square foot space the way I do? But somehow or another, I managed to lose it. And it's just part of what makes me me now, is the craziness of how it all works, from my memory, my cognitive skills for speaking and understanding what people have said, my ability to shut up. Oh my gosh. I told a friend of mine from my pool games, his name is Richard, and he and I were talking the other day, and I said, I have really tried really hard to focus, and I would focus for maybe 20 minutes and keep my mouth shut and just focus on what I was doing, and then I'm back to running my mouth. And he's like, it's okay, you just like to talk. And I said, well, I do. I said, but I also think that my filter's broken. And he started laughing. He's like, your filter? And I said, yeah. I said, what pops in my head pops out of my mouth. My filter's broken. And of course, he's one of these people that is not completely an ignorant jerk. He doesn't have MS, and whether or not he knows other people well with MS is irrelevant. He knows me, and we have a good time. All of us do up there at Mirrors and at Legends, and I play at two different places. So, you know, they are used to me, and they just kind of grin and laugh and with me, not at me. And then, like, Richard didn't understand what I meant about, my filter being broke. It's broke, but I'm working on it. I promise, guys, I'm going to get it fixed, okay? So my mouth will stop running when it's supposed to stop running. There are times when you need to be quiet, like when you're watching a movie, even though something in the movie triggers something in your brain and then bam, out comes whatever you thought. So I gotta work on that a little bit harder. So that's another goal, I guess you could say, but I'm setting it late, and I don't expect miracles because I've been working on it. So, but focusing is a problem, and the cognitive issues are really hard to describe, but so are the physical ones. People look at me and they think, well, you're good. Look at you. You're standing. Look at you. And they don't realize that they can push me over very easily, that I get tangled in my feet sometimes. I shoot pool, and when I shoot with the cue stick, I can go off balance and spin around, and they'll be like, what was that? What was that? And I'd say, well, yeah, I thought I'd try out some gymnastics moves or some dance moves, or I'll make some kind of joke about it, and didn't it look good? And there was one day I was playing, and they were like, you need to keep your stick down. You need to keep your stick down. I said, yeah, and I need to keep my feet on the ground. I need to keep my feet on the ground, So, and that was a newer person on the team who didn't really know me. So, he's starting to get used to it, and he knows not to say stuff like that anymore, because I'm going to let it go in one ear and out the other, because I'd really rather my stick go up than my butt go down to the floor. It is what it is. And since ignorance breeds ignorance, if you got more than one in a crowd and nobody else is going to shut them up, then I suggest you try some sarcasm. If you got two or more in a crowd, I suggest you get out of there, because they're going to breed like them snails, and you'll never get rid of them, and you'll just end up having your feelings hurt. It's not worth it. Nothing's worth it, So, what I want y'all to do every day is wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I'm going to have a great day. And if things kind of go like my past couple of weeks have, with the fish tanks and the ignorance and all that kind of craziness, then, give yourself a moment. Let it roll off of you. And don't be upset with yourself over what did or didn't happen, or what you did or did not get done. So every morning, wake up, tell yourself, because it's a brand new day, today is going to be a great day, and then smile big. I mean, how can you say it's going to be a great day without smiling? So smile big. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Smile at your critters. Smile at your neighbors. Smile at your family. Smile at whoever. And, watch funny stuff. Laugh a lot. And, oh gosh, my time is way up. So thank you guys for listening. And thank you, Erica Lyons Richardson, for starting this great network. And until next week, smile, y'all. Bye.